Can you explain a little bit about what business and life was like before joining the Six Figure Creative Club?
So I kind of like knew very straight away and very early in my career that I didn't want it to be an employee. So I kind of started to do freelance a lot, kind of worked on contract basis with very different people in very different industry. Most of my clients are in design, hospitality, fashion, and lifestyle. So I've always been quite passionate about the work that I've done, but I was really coming as a contractor, but not like on a freelance base. So with day rate, so you kind of like rely on them and whether they need you that week. And I realized quickly as well that I was kind of stuck with the idea of one being paid as an employee and just relying on really the timing that I was giving to my clients. And this is kind of where I got caught with your advertising because I felt like you were speaking to me, which I guess is exactly what you do, and you did it well. But the idea was like, yeah, I was trading my time for money and kind of like relying really on all of that network that I was building. But so everyone and every new clients that I had was still seeing me as that freelancer
Yeah.
that you kind of like can, you know, contract a little bit, but if you don't need her that time, it's still fine. Like, and it is, it's not like, but yeah, I was kind of like stuck in there and I knew I needed a push to really just improve the way I was working and I really wanted as well to rather than put myself as a freelancer kind of like build a business around it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I needed that push.
And do you feel like that's what was giving you the feast or famine? Because like one month you'd be taken for a lot of projects and the next month you could be dropped.
A little bit, yes. I've always been very lucky in a sense that I've always had great relationships with the people that I worked with. So it wasn't like I was completely dry out for month and month,
Yeah.
but you still really don't know what's gonna happen. And so that's a bit, yeah, that's just, I get scary. And yeah, I just really wanted to be able to know kind of like how much I wanted to have as well. I feel like when you really don't know, you just accept every type of
Yeah.
contract that gets in. And obviously, the dream for everyone is to be able to choose. And I knew it was possible, you know. So it's just getting kind of like the gist of how this is gonna work for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, amazing. And what about so when you joined, you were in a bit of a famine stage at that point. You knew you needed to change a few things, and you knew that it couldn't go on. The life you wanted wasn't really kind of matching where you were, even though you had great relationships with everyone. And you just wanted to take control of your business and who you're working with and the prices you were charging and things like that. What was like the biggest mindset shift you had to go through when you jumped inside and you started to work on things like your pricing and your offer? Was there any like light bulb moments that happened when you were going through the process?
I feel like the main thing, and that was the scariest part, and also the one that I'm really glad I kind of like realized, is that I guess so. I really was expecting some answers, right, and some help on like how can I get from where I was to I guess where am I here or where I could be later on, and I feel like I quickly realized that it wasn't gonna be so we are doing that for you or this is the exact recipe. So that was scary to me because you then realize, okay, so I still need to figure it out, but you kind of like gave me the tools to then be able to run my business on my own, which is ultimately what you want to do, right? Because if you would have done it all the work for me, then I don't know how to do it for myself later on. So I
Yeah.
guess it's really the mind shift of, okay, you need to actually take control of everything and not really, it's not that you don't have to expect people to help you because it is a help, but it's more, yeah, like, okay, you need to be able to know all of that stuff so
Yeah.
that you can then really apply it and even just hire other people to do it. But at least you know really like what are the different parts to running a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you handhold them so much that we literally do it for you, you would have no idea what to do after you'd left, and you'd have just been like, you'd have gone back to square one.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
reassuring, I guess, and I guess this is kind of like what I was looking for a little bit, and I guess what people are looking for because I guess you come in as well with really being like, okay, I need help now, you know. But I really I feel like yeah, that was the scary part, and as much like the great part that I'm loving to
Yeah.
really understand now is that yeah, I just need to take control of my own way.
Yeah. And you're a creative first and a business owner second, but it's about teaching you that like you're actually a business owner first and then a creative
Yes.
second if you
Yeah.
want to make that income because you know you are in charge of marketing and sales, like you're the face of the business.
100%. And I feel as well like I never was really comfortable with being, you know, behind a camera. I never really wanted to push myself forward in terms of marketing my own business and really wanted to stay back behind my work, which is still what I do. And understand that people like what I do rather than like me. That's not the point at all. But it's also, yeah, taking control of the way you present to people, what kind of things do you say, so that you really just feel very much more like professional and yeah, come up as like I know what I do, I know how to do it, I know the different answers even for the clients and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
all
Oh,
those.
amazing. Thanks for sharing that. That's so good. What do you feel is like what was it like having that community of other creators, but also coaches on hand to support you during the time? What was like the bit that you felt was the most important for you for getting those results?
I feel like again that support that you just have is really just reassuring. And so within that time when you building the business so that it works better, it just feels very nice to be able to jump on a quick call or just write to you know, all of the people that you have there to help you out really. And
Yeah.
so I feel like this is very helpful. I obviously the idea of having other creative that do the same job, that have the same struggle is also reassuring a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of mostly brand designers, I guess, because we connect in a way that I still talk to sometimes on Instagram and stuff like that. So that's nice, you know. Obviously, like there is something that, yeah, it's just kind of like building your network, but more on a creative side than just like your network and clients.
Yeah.
And you can share as well your insight of like the struggles you have, even with the program itself, you know, and like, okay, this is how I kind of like managed to
Yeah.
do that, that type of stuff. So that's very nice to have for sure, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You want people in the trenches with you because they
Yeah,
can quickly go, oh, that worked for me, or that didn't quite work
yeah.
the same way. And, you know, everyone's slightly different. So it's nice to have someone going through stuck in the mud sometimes,
Yes,
pulling you out.
for sure. And I even remember people kind of like texting me or writing me when I was a bit further down the path of the program and be like, okay, I'm trying all of that, but I don't see any results. And it's so also reassuring, I guess, to get the idea of like you being fine from a designer or a fellow creative rather than you guys, because it's not that they wouldn't trust you or
Yeah,
something like that, but you feel like, okay, it's fine, it's not always like linear, like that's fine.
yeah,
I feel like it's yeah, it's very reassuring things to
yeah.
have.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Zita. Okay, so after you kind of you come into the end, I remember within around 4 months you started messaging going, "Oh my God, I'm so busy now. I can't do this exercise because I can't take clients on." What was like the
Yeah.
biggest change during that time then, from before you joined to then after?
Well, that's a strange one for me because I don't really know like how that happened because it felt like so I came in, obviously I needed help. I knew I did, and I received all of that list of things to do, which was great for me because I felt like, okay, I need to do that and that and that.
Yeah,
And I remember at the very start, I was, I guess, kind of expecting the results straight away, which obviously takes time, especially with building your community and stuff like that. Like
hmm,
Instagram is always a very weird one for everyone, so you can't really expect to have results straight away. And so that was a bit of that kind of like in between moment. And I just feel like as soon as I was kind of like, is that really worth it? It kind of like blew. And so it's just kind of like ended up working all fine for me. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess for me, it's really, I guess, the consistency that you kind of like teach us to have.
yeah,
Again, really being on top of what you want. So, the way you ask the right questions before onboarding clients so that you really can choose the type of clients and industry and just relationship you want to build. I feel like, yeah, that mindset again that I gained was, I guess, the shift.
yeah,
And yeah, I kind of like felt all the work that I had done
yeah.
had some result at some point. But it did happen very quickly, that kind of like
Mm,
shift of
mm.
I still don't have a lot of work to I have way too much work and I have no idea what to do with all of that.
I think it's so
Yeah,
amazing because it happens to people so differently. Like some people it happens to
I'm
straight
sure.
away, some people towards the end, some people after the left. Like it's built to work, but every
Yeah,
business is so different. You just never know when it's going to work. And for you, it just worked like overnight. Like all of a sudden, all the pieces
a
you were
little
putting
bit. Yeah.
together just shifted into like a bit of a wave effect where it all
Yeah.
just started flooding, and you
Yeah.
couldn't really put your finger on exactly what it was. It was just kind of lots of different things.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. And I feel like as well, obviously I now my Instagram has kind of like blew and it's been amazing and I really saw that shift, but there was that in between moment where I could see was really the consistency of me posting and the work that I was putting into the type of things that I learned that was really helping me out getting to that point where you don't really have to do that anymore once you kind of like shifted even. So yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, amazing. And then with the clients you had beforehand, you had great relationships, you still had great projects with them. But how
Yeah.
is that shifted now towards the end of you being really busy? Does it mean that you've managed to increase your prices and your income? Do you cherry pick better clients? How does it look now with that side of stuff?
So part of what, sorry, I really wanted to do was increase a bit of my network. So I was very Australian based prior to that, and I really wanted to expand a bit more internationally. Obviously, France, I had a little bit of clients because I'm from there, but more to Europe, the States, etc. Because part of what I want to create for myself is that freedom of being able to work from anywhere, and so there's no time zone limits and that type of stuff. And I feel like this was a big shift for me where now I can work with people really all over the world and I can really choose because I get so many inquiries per day that
Yeah.
I get just to choose. And so I can put a wait list on. I'm happy to, like I'm already scheduled for a month in advance. So I'm just not
Wow.
scared anymore. And
Yeah.
in terms of just creativity and the passion that I have behind it, it's really being able to choose the clients that you want. And I guess as well, like the more you lean into really building a marketing that works for you, the more you attract the clients that you want, your dream clients.
Absolutely.
So the selection is not as hard as well because people that probably won't work as well with you don't even reach out to you anymore, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
And has that allowed you to, because you created a signature offer, you kind of stopped lots of different things that you were doing, you honed in on that one signature offer. How is that working for you now in regards to being able to kind of scale a little bit easier the business?
That's definitely helpful in the sense that, um, in my case, because I do brand design and it's quite a full package, I don't need that many clients per month. So it's easy to have those two, three clients and then scale and scale.
Yeah.
It's just helpful as well, even just for me in terms of paperwork and how you kind of like ease it out. My presentations are kind of like very scheduled and very
Yeah.
well done so that it feels just unified and easier for me rather than building a tailored proposal and work for each client, even though, of course, everyone's needs and requirements are
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Those processes are just helping me in terms of admin a lot, a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're looking to expand in a way of like you really are now on that next stage of okay, I've got to the point where I'm booked up, I'm booked up in advance. I'm not scared anymore about clients coming in. I can cherry pick the best. And now you're looking to scale more of a studio. What do you feel is the most exciting about that in where you're going to go now in the next 12 months to compared to if you'd not joined at all?
Um, I guess I don't know, but that's what it is exciting.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I just feel like because I don't have that scariness behind me, it's just about just having fun with what else can I do, you know? Like how else could I reinvent myself? How else could I just yeah, evolve as a person, as an artist, and as a business owner. And I'm happy as well. As I was saying to you, to be honest, I feel like we're quite aligned with even like our businesses because the type of marketing and the type of income you were kind of like, yeah, advertising about when I reached out to you was really what I wanted to do. And I feel like you increased that. And so I'm on the same wavelength of that. And so I guess it's just about like just being excited about the fact that, okay, we are all growing, which is proof that everything is working fine for everyone.
Mhm.
And so what else can we bring and what ideas could we brainstorm together and shift a little bit? As I was saying again, I guess I'm trying to build a kind of business where I have a lot of liberty to just do whatever I want from wherever I want.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like, okay, I've settled that, then what else can I do, I
Yeah,
guess?
like the sky's the limit. What can I
A
actually do
little bit.
next?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
So finally, Zita, what advice would you give someone that's looking for help or hasn't quite taken the leap yet or is thinking about joining the club but just hasn't quite kind of took that initial leap to invest in themselves or feel like it's still a bit scary?
To be fair, I feel like, and maybe I'm only talking to myself, but I don't think so. I feel like the scariest part for me starting out was because I needed help and obviously I needed money, and that was the kind of like the main thing that why people are coming in. It's hard to feel like you're going to invest without really knowing. But what I thought to myself at that point was also kind of like it's either I try and see and still gonna learn something, even though it's small, or even though I'm gonna learn that this doesn't work for me, you still learn that it didn't,
Mm,
rather than just do nothing, I guess. And so this is where I feel like my mind shifted and I was like, okay, let's actually try and get help and see what's out there, see the advice of other people. I'm going to invest that money and maybe I'll lose it, but at least I'll know the answers to my questions. I'll know like what else can be done. I feel like it's really about just the uncertainty that is
yeah.
scary when you don't really know if you want to get involved into that type of programs. But to me, really, the breaking point was it's either that or I just don't do nothing, and this is exactly what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah. It's either like grow in a way that maybe is not linear and expected, or just stay still and
yeah.
don't really
I'm
change.
not happy because obviously, if you're
Yeah.
willing to get into those type of programs, that means that you're not happy with where you're at right now. So it's really taking the step, and yeah. Yeah.
So, and then in regards to income, anything that you'd like to share about it? Of course, like I said, I can chop this bit out if you don't feel comfortable. If there's anything like, even if you say two times or three times more, or if you give a figure, or you just say increased a certain amount, it's all really helpful for tangibility as well. If anything like that,
Yes.
you'd be willing to share.
Well, when I started the program, I was really willing to have that 10K per month bracket, like always, 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 like put through. So I really wanted to be at that 10K every
Like
month because I was
consistently.
kind of like having some days where it was and some days where it wasn't. And I
Mm,
feel like right now, because I have that done and above, I'm already, willing to get triple the price, which is a bit presumptuous, but it is, I guess, what it does as well. So I
yeah.
feel like, yeah, I was really, really, sorry, I was really willing to get into that 10K brackets per month. And now that I secured it, it's again like, what else can I do so that I can really build a business that I'm comfortable with.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zita. That is super, super helpful. If there's
Cool.
anything else you want to share before the end, or is there anything you want to add, yeah, please feel free.
Yeah, I guess to me, if I can add like a little bit of like personal things to it, I feel like I connected with you guys as well because of, I don't know, I feel like I'm always a bit scared of like bigger scaled businesses and being involved with so many people. And so I feel like the connection that you're bringing as well is very helpful and very reassuring. And so, yeah, it's really about building connections rather than being within like a huge, yeah, business that doesn't really relate to you personally. And I think, yeah, that's very important for people,
Yeah.
that connection, personal
Yeah.
connection.
Keep that
Yeah.
emotional connection as you grow
Yeah.
your team. And something you can do as well as you start to grow your studio, is whatever you value, you bring into your business and then you
Exactly.
attract people that have the same values. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That was
Of
super,
course.
super helpful. These conversations are just so much more natural and easy than trying to like
Yeah.
remember like a phone in front of your face
Yeah,
and going,
exactly.
I had a really good
Yeah.
time. you know.
All right. Thank you so much.
No worries. I
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much.
that. I really, really do. Thank you so much, Zita, for your time. I know how busy you are. I'll chat
Have
to
a
you
good
soon.
one.
Bye.
Yeah, see
Bye.
you. Bye. Have a great day.